What's going on, new gamers? Today we're back with some more Outriders Worldslayer. What I'll be covering today is a few hints and tips, what ways are best in order to get yourself some nice god rolls on purples, and of course probably if you wanted to grab some golds. But if you want to know what the best way is, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. I've had a few days off and I've come back and seen a few videos on YouTube as such that are a little bit questionable. So I just wanted to throw a video out there to help some people along with getting those god roll items and good drops, mainly in regards to the purples more than anything else, to be honest. Now as always, if this helps you out, a like would be super appreciated, and if you'd like to become a member of the channel for more gaming content, then why not hit that subscribe bell. But for now, I'm going to be showing you a few ways in which you can get yourself some nice items and to make things a little bit easier for yourself. So one of the main ways that I tend to farm some of the best purple gear, for example those really annoying, so if we show you here the really annoying slots, the gloves and the boots, I have gone through hundreds upon hundreds. A few of them have been god rolls. Some of them work in some builds, some of them don't work in everything. They're a bit of a pain, and to be honest, they're designed to be that way, because if you have a little look, when they're the gold variation, the set pieces and even the universals, pretty much all of them come with max health as standard, meaning that you're not going to get the most damage if you're going for your firepower or if you're going for your anomaly builds. It's not the be all and end all, because you get some really nice mod slots in them, so you can well use them. But if you're going for the highest damage, what you're going to be aiming for will be something in regards to this that's got bonus firepower on it. This one's got cooldown reduction and status power. Pretty much a perfect roll. As you can see here, if I was going for a build that was all about feed the flames, this one would definitely be a god roll, and I could just swap that second one for whatever I wanted. Absolutely amazing, and then I could change other pieces to kind of adapt to what I need. If however I was after that pure anomaly damage, then even for the sheer fact that it rolled with firepower would still mean, though I was very lucky with the rolls on the apocalypse slot and with everything else on it, I would need that anomaly, so again it wouldn't be a perfect roll, which shows you how random and hard the drops are. They're very difficult to get these two slots right here. I would say a much harder drop chance than getting any of your gear sets or getting any of the other nice pieces, just for how lucky you've got to be for everything to be on it that you would want on your gear piece. Also, after farming hundreds upon hundreds, probably even thousands of these, you realise that they do still have the exact mods in the apocalypse slot. You can't get every variation, so you have to be very lucky and get the right one for what you're after. One such example would be on the boots. If I remember correctly, I think mainly you're probably trying for your unstoppable force if you're going for your anomaly builds and such. So a lot of times what you'll be aiming for is places you can go in order to farm quite a nice bit of loot and hopefully raise your chances through having a lot of drops. Now one of the places I've shown in a previous video still holds up true. You're going to go to Outriders, you're going to make your way to the very first entrance just here, the Temple of Anomaly. It's going to take around about 3 minutes depending on your build and such. As soon as you beat that, you're going to head straight over yonder, just over here to the very first boss. He can be beaten very quickly. Lower health, lower damage, you can absolutely smash him to pieces. When you're doing that, all you're going to do is make sure you do the old trick of going back to the lobby and restarting every single time after you beat him. He doesn't drop anywhere near as many golds as the very last boss, meaning your chance to get those purples and the gloves and the boots is very high. The only thing is, like I said, it is random rolls, so don't expect perfect rolls in that apocalypse slot. You will still have to work for it. But I would say this is one of my favourite ways in order to get the most gear for your time, because of how fast you can do this boss, and then just rinse and repeat. After you've done your 4 tries, go back, start it again. It's going to take you about 6 minutes, give or take, all the way through to complete all of the tries and then start again. So you have a big opportunity for that loot. Another option is the targeted loot areas. So again, if we pop to our map and go to Outriders, if you have a little look, the troves now reward better loot. They are still not my favourite. I must admit I did these quite a few times over, hoping to see just how good it was supposed to be, and even now I would probably still be doing this boss. I think it's just a much better option. These take a few minutes, especially if you're after boots, which seems to be the main one that people are after, myself included. It takes around about 4 minutes a time. Even at Apocalypse level 31 or so with myself, my average boots that were dropping for the Apocalypse variants was only around about 2, and sometimes it was 0. I did have a couple of 4s, so it kind of evened itself out, but most times it's very disappointing. Say it was 2 every single time. If you did this 3 times, that's 12 minutes for 6. Whereas over here, like I said, around about 6 minutes, you're going to get a chance from here when you open up the chest, and then you're going to have 3 lots of drops from here. You're probably going to get around about the same amount of loot, plus a lot more chance of getting other items. The first boss definitely works out best in my eyes and seems to be a little bit faster and less annoying, to be perfectly honest, because this one in particular, the Proving Grounds, is just not the most fun one to play as a map. Obviously you can still go to your other ones if you're after them, say for example the gloves, or if you're after things such as this, the helmet, which I would never recommend going for that because they drop enough on the end boss to sort you out for a lifetime. But if you did need something like the gloves, it probably is one of the slightly better ones, doesn't take quite as long as this. However, again, I still found running that first boss worked out better. Another way is obviously from your vendors. Vendors are one of the best ways actually currently in the game, as they seem, let me know in the comments if I'm completely wrong, but to me they seem to have a slightly higher chance to drop better mods in the Apocalypse slot. I've seen quite a few variations of those frees, whereas otherwise they seem to be a little bit lesser. So if we bop over to here and look at one of our vendors, if you have a little look, most of these are stuff that you're never ever going to look at. Blues, get completely rid of. Max health, completely don't bother. Any of the normal purples, again, you're not going to bother. But just up here, we've actually been quite unlucky, as this definitely isn't the best roll, but you're going to be looking for those Apocalypse variants. This one has Dying Fire Breath, not the best, can work quite well on a pyro, but most times you're going to be looking for something that really fits into your build, or a nice tier 3. Again, if you haven't got enough scrap, so if you have a little look here, I'm running a little bit low on scrap, I could always just sell off something I've got just over here. So as you go up, they start to sell for a very high price on scrap. If you've got any legendaries or just normal stuff that you want to get rid of, you'll be able to make a lot of scrap that way. Or of course you can bop just over to here, where you're usually going to sort out your drop pods and stuff, and instead you're going to sell off these. So drop pods, nice and easy. Because of how much you actually get as conversion, it works out okay-ish. I probably wouldn't recommend this, but if you've got an abundance, it doesn't matter too much. As you can see there, we've got 998,000 for us chucking over 12,000 drop pods. So in a pinch, you can quite easily do that. Again, don't forget, if you wanted to travel to one of the other vendors, just go over to your travel and then bop to wherever you want to know that's actually got somewhere. So say for example your Trench Tan, you could quite easily go back there, visit any of the previous vendors and have a little look at their goods. As you can see, for the weapons, which most time you're not going to worry about too much, one right here has got one of the very worst tier 3s available, Dome of Protection, but it has rolled a tier 3 just to show you that you can definitely get on it. But yeah, you can pretty much do this with any of the vendors, just travel around, have a little look. After a while you'll start to learn their locations, go to them a little bit faster, and if I remember correctly on Xbox it's every 1 hour they change. So you may want to have a little look every once in a while just to see if there's any nice rolls out there. Now if however you're after those legendary gold drops, say for example you're after a gear set or you're after a weapon, starting up the Trial of Taria Gratar is still probably your best bet. Again, you're going to go all the way through. I would completely bypass everything if I was aiming for that and just make your way all the way along and head straight to the very last boss. As you've probably seen in a million videos, myself included, then you're going to back out by going back into your lobby. I have a video on that just in case you're not sure of it, but you'll just do that and then head straight back in. Don't abandon it, make sure you go back to lobby and then you can use your retries back on the boss and have a lot more guaranteed loot. He doesn't drop anywhere near as many for those legendaries unfortunately, but he does still drop more than pretty much all the others along here, other than the second boss, which is also quite nice sometimes. but he takes quite a while to do. You're not going to want to farm him. He's better for experience, I find. This is going to be the guy. You're going to go to him, farm him over and over, and you'll be able to get yourself some nice drops. Hopefully you'll be able to get a few god rolls if you're lucky. Last but definitely not least, and the reason I'm making this video is because I saw a few others out there. Just over here is going to be your suppliers, which you're going to be using your drop pod resources for. Now, there's been a few videos going around saying this is a guaranteed new way in order to get the exact piece of loot you're after. And they're kind of right. What they're saying is if you don't have the item in your inventory but you have it on the slot, so say for example a head slot or a body slot, so you still keep hold of it, then because it's not in your inventory, my voice going, apologies, it's going to reward you with it when you're doing the rotation here. So every time you re-roll, you're going to be able to get that item. I tried this a lot of times. I don't know why, because I knew it wasn't real. I'd already spent a lot of resources trying a few things in here, but don't worry too much about that. If you have an absolute abundance of these drop pod resources to burn, don't burn through all of them because you will definitely need them for upgrading and stuff. But if you want to use a few of them in order to try your luck, this is where you gamble, and it is a gamble. You might get the item, you may well be lucky, but again it might not have that god roll slot. If it hasn't got the apocalypse slot you're after, then the item isn't going to be the best and you're still going to want to replace it further down the line. It's very similar in style to something I heard about the native Indians, where they used to do rain dances and the rain would always come. And then I found out it's because they used to take it in turns and never stop doing the dance until the rain actually poured. This is exactly the same. Bear in mind, if I'm wrong about that, apologies, chuck it in the comments, but that's what I've overheard from someone. But yeah, this is exactly the same. If you used 1, 2, 3, 4, however many millions of drop pod resources, eventually you would probably get the roll you want. But it's luck. It's not guaranteed. It is just if you're doing something over and over again, eventually it will turn up. But whether it's the first time or 450 reroll is a complete matter of luck, and if you're anything like me, it'll be closer to the end. Do this if you want, but remember it is a gamble, and I would say it's probably best to do if you're just missing one piece of gear. Say for example you needed the last piece for your gear set and you weren't too fussed about it being 100% perfect, but you wanted it in order to complete that gear set to get the set bonus. Or like I said, if you've got a massive amount of these built up and you just want to try your luck. Also, if you did need to get some more drop pod resources, don't forget selling them over here, so we can sell a little bit of titanium and we're going to chunk up our drop pod resources. So if you've got loads and loads of titanium, again, don't leave yourself completely short because you're going to need it to upgrade your gear and such. But if you did need to, swap it there and you grab yourself some more drop pods for those rerolls or whatever you want to purchase. Right, well you gamers, hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out. I'm sure a lot of you already knew this, but I just wanted to put a video out there because I saw a few out that seemed a little bit on the odd side. God rolls aren't guaranteed, they're very, very lucky, especially those apocalypse purples for the boots more than anything. So anyone who tells you how to get them and get them really fast, I would probably say is either very lucky and had a good drop themselves, or they know something I definitely don't. But as always, for all you gamers, take care, I'll see you on next day.